the outcome at WASI.
Yes.
But there's another thing comparing quality using the real facts on the ground. So that I go to my school, Tema Secondary School, and I find that they are setting fire in a hearth to cook outside the kitchen instead of using gas cylinders, which I did in 2000, what I saw in 2003 as a student. That is a quality issue that you are not talking about.
No, yes, and
I'm
happy.
The quality of the food is also quality. It's not assessed at WASI, but it's a problem which is seen. Children return home and their parents say they're not well. Some have bloated, some are starving, some are skinny.
Well, I am happy to have all of this conversation.
Yes, so that's under quality, and I wanted to deal with it.
On the area of cooking with firewood, maybe then it is interesting that Tema Senior High School, my sister went to Tema Senior High School. She completed sixth form in 1995 in Tema Senior High School. So maybe there's been a retrogression in terms of what Tema Senior High School was doing when you were there in terms of gas. But we know that progressively, a lot of work is being done in the schools around how to cook in the kitchens. But the firewood continues to be used in a lot of schools. Work is being done by previous governments and the current government to reduce the use of firewood and, for that matter, smoke and all those things. Now, in terms of quality of food, we can all attest to the fact that, especially during the first term of His Excellency President Akufo-Addo's administration and under Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, food was not an issue because of the work that Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh was doing with buffer stock as a way to ensure that food was being supplied to all of the schools. Post Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, decisions were made by the then minister, around who was going to supply food, bringing in commodities and exchange. Of course, that was a ministerial decision that then created some of these challenges. But something was working that a minister at the time decided, we don't know why he made that decision, to create these.
So we should blame the challenges we saw in the senior high schools post-Napo, we should blame it on Dr. Adutwum, who took over as deputy minister, promoted to minister. The problems, we should lay them before him because it was policy interventions that went bad from the minister's side.
Well, the thing is that in whether you are the best education person or anything, when you are made a minister of education, you have a number of technical people that you work with. Within the ministry, you have the chief technical officer who is the chief director. You have directorates within the ministry that do a lot of policy advising for a minister. Then you have implementing agencies like the Ghana Education Service, you have GTEC, you have NASIA, you have NACA, that provides technical support.
Yeah.
Now, it is very, very critical that as a Minister of Education, regardless of what you think you know, that you work with the technical people who are on the ground.
Was that absent under Adutwum?
There were challenges.
There was a communication problem.
I believe that the biggest challenge was that because he felt he was in education, that
he knew better.
He could do it. But regardless of who you are, you need to be able to work with the people on the ground who understand the work.
It's not, so is it a case that they sabotaged him?
No.
Because they thought that Aliche or Tuno, so we'll show him, we'll see, we'll watch him and crash. Is that what they did to him?
Absolutely not, because one of the key rules of being a public servant or being a civil servant is that you never deny your technical skills to the political leadership of the day. It is critical. But the political leadership of the day must avail itself to that technical skill. And if it does not, then it creates a situation where you then just follow marching orders.
So but the technical support was there, but it was unused by the minister?
Absolutely.
Or he did not rely on the technical support?
Exactly, 100% so. And let me tell you a good example. Under Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, anytime a major decision needed to be made, everybody will sit in that conference room and he will be the last one to speak. And we would share ideas and everything else. Post Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, that camaraderie of bringing everybody together was not really, it was absent. It was absent. And unfortunately, that impacted free SHS and its quality that we saw in the first term of the administration.
Just for the records, you served as Deputy Director of Education under Napo or Matthew Opoku-Prempeh as Minister and Adutwum being his deputy. You remained there when Adutwum became Minister. Yes. You remained there till the end of the government.
Yes.
So you saw him work, and,
yes.
and that's why you are saying what you are saying.
Of course.
So it's not hearsay. You lived this experience.
I lived it. Listen, I worked under Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh.
You go to boardroom meetings and he doesn't listen or take advice? Is that what happens?
Sometimes we are not even invited to boardroom meetings. But, you know, that's...
but you're the technical people who are supposed to direct education process while they do policy, right?
And it's not just me. You can speak to a lot of other technical people who were in government, and you would see that the technical skill was not leveraged.
Just to be sure, you played a role in the Baumia campaign of 2024.
Yes.
You appear to have been on the Napo campaign trail. Is it the case that you, and again, those of us who have followed the education service, we've heard rumors that Napo was not happy with some of the things Adutwum did when he was his deputy, and that there was a fallout and Adutwum took his job, and we are hearing around that there's some rivalry or tension between Napo and his former deputy Adutwum. Is it the case that you are on the Napo side of things, you are on his campaign side or in his camp, and that's why you are saying these things to paint Adutwum black?
No, correction. Number one, I was not on the Napo campaign trail.
Okay.
I didn't really do any campaign activities with Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh.
Okay.
I was on the NPP 2024 Education Manifesto team.
Okay.
And I provided technical support to the Education Manifesto team. That's number one. Number two, I spent a lot of my time on the Education Communication team with Honorable Gifty Chumampofo, Dennis Labi, and a few others, Hifod Siao, on promulgating the education policies of Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia, the then Vice President and presidential candidate. Okay. So it should not be said that I was on the...
So it's not Ahoya?
It's not Ahoya at all. Listen, let me be clear with you. The person who brought me to the Ministry of Education was Dr. Yawase Adutwum.
Okay.
He met me at...
He's American too, and just you're also American. I mean, you are coming from America.
We didn't work together in America, but he met me at Class FM. And for the record, you know, he sought after me to come and support them at the Ministry of
And
Education.
Today you are pushing a dagger in
I'm not pushing a dagger in him at all. Not at all. I have had some of these conversations, but if we would make progress. Right?
We will just one more thing before I need to take a break. One of the biggest successes of Akufo-Addo was Free Senior High School.
Yes.
But it also became one of the biggest banes of his government. You're suggesting that the first term of his government, Free SHS, was flying high in the sky like a kite, and that in the second term, all the problems of Free SHS came up. Is that how we should compartmentalize the issues?
I think that the evidence is there for everybody to make an assessment of. And I think that you can have a four-wheel drive, and you can have two drivers of that four-wheel drive. One will use that vehicle effectively. When they are in mud, they may activate the four-wheel drive to allow the vehicle to move very effectively. And then you could have another driver who does not know how to effectively use that machine. And for that matter, the machine may not work as effective. And what I am suggesting to you is that we had one driver who used the machine more effectively than the other.
This is Face to Face on ChannelOne Television. My guest is a former Deputy DG at the Ghana Education Service. We're talking about Free Senior High School. So he's talked about access, he's talked about quality. There's equity and relevance, which is what I'm going to ask him to explain how